job board, an internal job board. We share job opportunities to our students. We can also find you students, like qualified candidates, if there's something specific you're looking for. We also have partnered up with some companies and brands on internship programs, but it has been informal. Like, these students do not get college credit for it, but that's okay. We understand that it's not going to happen yet, so if you want to partner up with us on an internship program, we are always open to do that at Cannaclub.
And just a quick aside, the website Indeed, apparently everyone gets their jobs there, including the cannabis industry. Everyone I talk to, they post all their job opportunities on Indeed and are having a lot of luck with that. So
it's true. Our graduates, once they just type, they've been on there for months, and they just type Oaksterdam University graduate, and suddenly they get a bunch of it. So it's true.
A lot of it is that personal network, though. I know in the course we taught last year, we took the students out to a farm in Woodland, and sure enough, 2 of them got jobs because they went out and visited. And you know, the job was interesting because, of course, they're harvesting, and if you harvest all day, you do smell like cannabis when you walk in. And the course was at 6 o'clock, so we knew whenever the student was done working.
Well, when we first started teaching in LA, I used to have to grow the plants at home and bring them into class, and I would have to like sneak them down the hallway into the elevator and then run back down the hall if someone came out of the apartment. Yeah, so good times, good times.
We've also have job fairs. So at our job fair, sometimes there's active interviewing and screening and hiring processes, and we had one last year. We're gonna try to plan one again, and please, contact us if you want to get involved with our Cannaclub students and hire them and stuff.
Sounds like you got a lot of options.
Licensing cities have job fairs as well, specifically looking for people who will work in the cannabis industry. So I've heard of a lot of those.
So do the veterans, the military job fairs too.
Hi, thank you so much for being here today. My name is Cassie. I'm actually a student under Bob Solomon at UCLA. And as a student, when you go and you try to talk to industry insiders or cultivators or business people, there is a little bit of an easier access point to opening a door, talking to them, getting information. However, I've also come across cold shoulders where that access to such data is inaccessible, or they just don't want to share because maybe I might have a different motive, or I come across that a lot. But how does academia, in that environment right now, how does academia currently nourish the relationships with such industry insiders, who are concerned with business and profits, to eventually have access to the data that we're looking for?
Well, this has actually been an issue. We trained back when it was still considered the Board of Equalization how to tax cannabis. You're welcome. Sorry. But they had to understand how to interface with the businesses. And what you experienced with the businesses being reticent to share information, and what we try to explain to the tax auditors in cities, and how we first showed Oakland how to tax cannabis, was something we called open audits, where you come in, you look at the books, you don't take copies, you just make sure it's all there, and then you go home. The very act of providing you that information is also an act of self-incrimination. And so it is not safe for them to do so. And so oftentimes that barrier that you feel, it's not even a profit motive, it's a protection mode. And unfortunately, it's only paranoia if it's not a healthy concern for the truth, and it is a healthy concern for the feds. We are not that far away from Jefferson Beauregard Sessions III. And he undid a lot of the progressive policies of the previous administration, and I'm going to say progressive in bunny ears because it was Obama's administration that provided the crippling federal rate upon Oaksterdam University back in the day. And so I even, but better than that, when they're interfacing on a level of state regulatory procedures, that protection is still a line item in the appropriations bill. When you hear Congress is shutting down, you should hear zero protection for medical cannabis businesses. And it's not even applied to legal adult businesses. And so until we can deschedule and finally allow for that interface, we can't do research on the interactions with pesticides, with normal things we commonly consume that are allowed for public consumption, for human consumption, because you wash your apple before you eat that apple, and you're dealing with a cast iron stomach and a liver. you're not setting it on fire and mainlining it to your brain. Simple things like glycol become formaldehyde at certain temperatures. And so the processes that they're using might also be used against them in future regulatory. Something a farmer uses 3 months ago, or God forbid is in the soil from 3 years ago, hemp is a bioaccumulator. And so that's my personal opinion. I'd love to hear a couple of you, and I think this gentleman's going to be the last question. But you don't have to sit down if any of you wanted to add to any of that.
I'll just say the UCLA Cannabis Research Initiative, we have a research agenda, and there are a lot of data sets that we would like to look at, including the CDTFA data. It is being collected at the state level. Unfortunately, it's not accessible to cities, it's not accessible to universities yet. And the claim really is as simple as we haven't allocated the money for someone to make the data available. So it can be things as simple as that. There's also what was $10 million a couple months ago sitting in a research account, what is now $20 million sitting in an account that the Bureau of Cannabis Control has not released for us, or for all the universities, to look at a lot of these issues that are important for the state. It was built into Prop 64. The money just hasn't been released. So we're looking to get the money so that we can look at things and collect that data and do some of those things and build a cooperative relationship between the UCs to do some of that work, like John was talking about before.
But again, tenacity, you will find operators that will work with you, and if you get the cold shoulder, move on. Yeah. Last question.